All right. We online? I think the stream is live. Hello, horses of Night City. How are all y'all doing tonight? Or today, whatever time zone you're at. It's actually like 3 o'clock where I am in beautiful sunny California. Dead of winter, it's still sunny, no clouds in the sky, and it's like 60 degrees, like 18 Celsius. That's winter for you. But I thought this would be the right time to do a little bit of podcasting, because I was actually just on Chris's Twitch stream, and unfortunately she had to cut out early. She was not feeling well, but I'm still kind of in the podcasting mindset, so I thought that's a good as time as any for a little BananaCast. And we're gonna keep it a BananaCast this time. Just me, just a little bit of solo action, which consequently is what Cyberpunk was supposed to be. Also, a nice fun single player experience, and unfortunately, it has become a multiplayer game, an MMO RPG, where all the world is experiencing the the game that's unfolding right now of the corpos getting in trouble for a very not finished right now kind of game. It's really been funny and sad seeing the situation unfold, because I was blessed with such an ideal situation when it did come out. Like, I had just gotten an Xbox Series X, whatchamacallit, Monolith Tower, the cube, the Great Cube of Saturn. Hello, Sunset Shimmer in the chat. Great Cube of Saturn. And so I was able to play it under those ideal circumstances where it's like, okay, it runs well enough because it's a next generation console playing the game, which is otherwise very, very limited. I'm sorry, even the Japanese lyrics are bothering me on this. I'll have to find a different backing music playlist. It's so funny, when I decided to play the City Pop over the New Year's stream, I knew... This is the same song, isn't it? Damn it. Alright, let's try this one. Oh, that's great. This is probably totally copyright bombing our stream and everything, too. Although it was funny, the only thing that happened to the New Year's stream is it was copyright blocked in 4 countries. And it's the 4 countries that always come up when you're having fun discussions. Syria, Iran, North Korea, and Russia. So, I don't know why none of them like Japanese 1980s pop music, but whatever, man. So, yeah, this is a new thing we're trying. New year, new podcasting format, which is background music. Which is Googling copyright-free X, whatever genre you're in the mood for. Electronica, city pop, lo-fi beats to chill and study to, whatever. This is coffee shop radio, 24/7 lo-fi hip-hop from Steezy as fuck on YouTube. So, I mean, if we do get copyright bums, whatever. We'll deal with it. Oh, we're not going to be listening to any Blinding Lights, that's for sure. Nothing that the Bong Radio network can get us in trouble for. But it just adds a little bit of flavor to the podcast. A little bit of nice audio scenery, soundscaping. Easier listening. Because my voice is not the easiest to listen to. Anyway, going back to what we were saying, I played Cyberpunk under ideal circumstances, luckily, where I had the next-gen console, so I did definitely have some bugs, some of which were technically game-breaking, where I had to do a hard reset of the console, but overall, it was a good experience. Overall, I still enjoyed it. It was no more broken than New Vegas was when I played that when that came out, which should have some of its own game-breaking bugs. So I thought it was par for the course, as someone who really isn't a gamer and really doesn't play a wide variety of games, as far as RPGs go even. I never played The Witcher when it came out or anything. Never played the other Bethesda series, the Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, Skyrim -1. I did play Skyrim -1 actually. The Oblivion for I don't know, maybe 20 hours. I think I played like the first kind of areas, and I didn't like it. I'm not big into sword and sorcery. It's got to be just right for me to get into it. And as far as games go, I'm just not. So I abandoned Oblivion, Skyrim -1, and I never played Skyrim either. Because although Skyrim looked fun and sounded fun based on all the reviews it got, honestly, it's too dark. It's not colorful enough. It's a very drab-looking game. It's very cold and, black tundra. And I just I like my zany Fallout colors. I like my bright green plasma guns and things like that. So, a very shallow reason for sure. But, yeah, that's why. No, this is a solo podcast, I'm afraid. I just wanted to riff a little bit. I had some free time. I'm in a podcasting mood, so yeah. Like I said, hopefully Chris feels better and all that stuff. We were on her stream earlier, but anyway, so we played I played Cyberpunk under ideal circumstances, but it was fun. I got through the ending. I actually just last night listened to the other endings of Cyberpunk, and one of them was a secret or bad ending, or I guess not too secret, but it's basically the kill yourself ending when you're up there in the when you're up there on the roof of the building and you basically choose your branching off point for all the decisions. There's one where you basically just shoot yourself right then and there, and credits, which is interesting. It is a valid, possible ending for V's story. There are definitely some versions of V that would just be nah, I'm gonna check out now. I'm not going to storm into Arasaka Tower and get people killed or anything. I was lucky though. I ended up playing what I believe is the best ending, just by the way I play it, I guess, which was follow Pan Am. You follow that crazy, wonderful girl all the way down into the basement of Arasaka Tower, and you fight your way out. And you have your big triumph and flee from Night City with her on top of the basilisk where you consummated your relationship, which is very romantic. So you spend whatever time you have left together, and I thought that was a good way to go. Best ending. Been really interested in trying out the Banished mod for the Master Chief Collection. I actually didn't even know what kind of Halo mods are out there. Like I said, I'm not a gamer, and console mods really were introduced to me on Fallout 4 when the great God Howard rolled those out for Fallout 4 on Xbox. Otherwise, I don't know. I was never really a computer gamer. I did. The end of my computer gaming days was in the early days of Sims. I played a bit of the Roller Coaster Tycoons. And then, I don't know, computers just shifted for me. I was already getting out of that kind of gaming anyway. I was getting much more into, straight shooters and the Halos and the whole Xbox ecosystem. And it was just kind of two different modes of thinking. I spent enough time on the computer doing other things where I liked that separation of gaming was the thing I did from a couch with a controller in hand on one of our TVs. A lot of it for me was LAN parties, playing 4 players or playing Xbox Live with some of my bros across town. I always like that separation, that kind of, that difference, the compartmentalization of your activities. That way everything isn't just one screen. You don't feel quite so much like you're just an input device for a network of computers. Even though that's what my job is. A lot of people's jobs are now. So it's kind of fun. Are we still live? I think we're still live. My internet bugged on me too right before I joined Cruz's podcast. So I was like, oh boy, here we go. But yeah, it's been an interesting couple of weeks. I mentioned on Chris's podcast actually, or Twitch stream, whatever, where I've been on a writing storm since Christmas. I usually for whatever reason, I'm really like, I get a lot of writing done in the winter. I don't know if it's the time of year, or the cold weather, but something about the psychology of it really puts me in the writing mood. I kind of credit that to my time living in Virginia, maybe, when I had a real winter with like snow and blizzards and whiteouts and ice storms, you know, snow days off of work and stuff. I guess that kind of put me in that mindset, even since moving back to California, where winter is slightly cold, sunny weather outside. Anyway, so I ever since then, I've done really well at getting a lot written over that time of year. And so this year, in the last couple of weeks, I've written 25,000 words on this new novel that I've been really excited about, pulling back one of my old ideas from a couple of years ago. And so finally, hopefully going to launch my first novel post... Oh, that was the song. That sounded like an alarm clock for a second there. I don't even know if you guys can hear that. You might be able to. Anyway, yeah, so I've gotten 25,000 words done, which is like 2.5 hours. It's like a Ranger length of story so far, and I'm barely through Act 1. Like, I even had the big inciting action, which kicks off Act 2 yet. So I'm really excited, because that was really ever since college, long before the pony thing and everything, that was always a dream of mine, was just to be able to get to the point of having basically an annual novel, 100,000 words a year, written and edited and published, and, you know, ideally an audiobook, which is now what I've practiced and perfected with Confessions of Wasteland Pony. Well, maybe not perfected, but, you know, little sound effects and stuff. I don't know. That's always what I wanted to do eventually. That was the dream. So see how things go. It's a lot of fun. Quit showing me error reports. What do you mean status poor? My internet is not happy right now. Not a happy camper. That's how I've always been big on downloading too, like YouTube videos and stuff where I like, and I'm like, I wonder if this is going to get deleted, or this is going to get messed with. Like, over New Year's, I've been enjoying the new Sideways videos. Sideways is the YouTuber that does commentaries on like movie music and different kinds of like film scores and stuff. And he finally put out a video on Cats, the Cats adaptation movie from last year, the movie that ended the world because everything went to hell after that. And he made a lot of interesting points because I knew nothing about Cats the musical before it came out. I only heard all the, you know, hilarious bad CGI for the cats and the weird execution and the uncanny valley. And he went into a lot more details on the story and, like, the presentation of the original musical. Like, basically why it became the mega hit that it did. And about how the movie adaptation basically fucked up everything. And ruined a lot of those things. And the execution of the music itself was really terrible because of... This is the same guy that did the Les Mis movie adaptation back in 2012 and had a lot of similarly problematic results to the way they did the recordings. So that was enjoyable. Anyway, as I was saying, so that video came out, and literally, like, I've rewatched it like 2 or 3 times, and every time I've rewatched it, more of the clips that he was using to illustrate why the Cats musical is all screwed up, the audio has gotten to change. And so he's had to drop out the whole audio section he's using to illustrate his review of what Cats did wrong. But because YouTube's copyright ecosystem is such bullshit, he's had to edit out the audio and replace it with some generic crap or just silence, basically. Completely, like, ruining the whole idea of a review of a piece of music. And so I gotta be faster on the button to download videos like that before they get messed with. And it's just fucking sad. It's just really, really fucking sad. Especially when what he's doing is so literal and obvious as a review. Like, so textbook fair use that it's not even something like what I do that can be more called into question as a parody. Like, his is literally straight review. Like, totally, but, you know, it's how it goes. Other than that, I've been watching, like, kind of 90s shows, actually. I found a lot of stuff on like Amazon Prime and remakes of old shows too. I ended up getting a Funimation account to watch the Attack on Titan dub, which I did not know the dub was coming out already, like as it's airing in Japan with like a 4-episode delay, basically. But it is, and I'm so glad that it is too, because I watch the subs as they come out, but I just don't like subs. It just is not the same. I don't like having to read what the conversation is going on. I like to pay attention to the anime, the visuals as they're happening. And it's not even just with anime or Japanese media either. I felt the same way back in college with what was that movie? Labyrinth, where it's about the Spanish Civil War and all that stuff with the magic and fairies and the little girl and everything. And I'm like, I don't like reading Spanish subtitles. Like, I get it. It's, it's original language and whatever, but it's literally the movie was being used to illustrate a visual, like, cinematography section of the film class. And I'm sitting there like, my eyes keep drifting down to the lyrics of her talking about the fantasy world and the creatures. And I'm like, boy, it would be so much easier if I could use a different part of my body to intake the experience of the story while my eyes are paying attention to the visuals, which is what I'm actually being graded on. Anyway, that's that's my yet another commentary I have on the sub and dub problem. The dubs question, which is like, unless it's like really egregious of changing characters or like major plot points or stuff, even back in the old days when it was like especially bad, I'm like, I don't know, it's just, you can recognize those few differences and watch the episodes where those are different, and it's like, oh yeah, no, Sailor Jupiter, they weren't cousins, they were lesbians, and that's fine. But not for, children's television in the 90s. And that's great, but otherwise, I just want to watch the dub. I just want to hear, what is her name? Usagi? I almost said Uraraka. I've been watching a lot of anime since Christmas. I'm sorry. So one of those old 90s shows I've been watching, a completely random, like, I was looking up cyberpunk anime, basically, just to see what else there was. Because, that is, like, peak anime aesthetic. Was, like, Akira through the Ghost in the Shell show, that kind of like 80s, 90s techno anime. I love that look. I love that look so much. And I found this hidden gem called Key the Metal Idol. Key the Metal Idol. Like an idol. Anyway, really interesting show. She's like a robot girl, and kind of a Pinocchio story where she wants to become a real girl, and her dying scientist grandfather says, in order to become a real girl, you have to make 30,000 friends. And like, I was like, fucking what? Like, suddenly this has like a My Little Pony subplot. I'm like, okay, how does making friends transform her body into like a real girl? I'm sorry, it's all Pinocchio references. They haven't literally explained yet, but there's been a couple of points where, like, she has a burst of, like, humanity, like, real emotional, what's his name? I'm only running on a half power right now. Turing test kind of moments where she seems like a real person, rather than normally she has this very robotic voice and cold, emotionless, data-like approach to the world. Anyway, so during her like real little girl moments, or teenager, whatever, there's like flashes of like it'll cut to an x-ray of like her mechanical body, like the insides, which all gear works, and there'll be like a flash of like organs and stuff, like it's the end of Akira where he's like merging into the chair and like the giant baby appears, but it's just like real organs magically appearing inside of her and then disappearing, and it's like, fucking what? It's a great show. I've been loving it so far. Anyway, so my search for more shows like that. I'd also heard of this anime called Legend of the Galactic Heroes, which I hadn't watched, but it was like a space anime, and I don't think I'd really watched any space anime. Like, I really didn't get into Gundam or any of those shows back in the day. My mecha show was Big O, and then I watched Evangelion like 2-3 years ago. And those are both done. So, exhausted. But then I guess they took the old novels, because they were originally novels, I guess, like actual prose rather than like manga or something, of Legend of the Galactic Heroes, and they're making a new series called some subtitle just meaning the new series, but in German, Dies Tesse. Anyway, new series is great. Great modern animation, the big spaceship battles. They've got these fleets of like tens of thousands of starships just wailing on each other from these two competing, like a galactic empire and then a galactic like free worlds republic. But it's kind of like Star Wars, where the free worlds are very corrupt and overly democratic and stuff. And it's like, okay. So, and you follow like two kind of key characters in both of the respective militaries and how they start out as outsiders and worm their way into positions of authority. So it's like a big space opera that becomes like their chess game between these two characters and all these other smaller characters in between. Anyway, what I'm saying is, really good show. And Funimation did a dub. So that's how I watched it, on the Funimation app. So yeah, it's been fun. I know. I love Attack on Titan too. I've been waiting for the new episodes to happen, because finally they're going to shove a big Attack Titan fist right up Marley's ass. Long overdue. And it's so funny on all like the meme groups on Facebook and stuff, because you have this small contingent of people that are like Reina fans. And I'm like, bro, fuck Reina. It's just like I said, fuck Bertolt before they fed him to Armin. It's like, no, these people are the bad guy. It doesn't matter if they know more about the world or circumstances change. Still, fuck them and their gulags, or not gulags, ghettos. Their little, ethno containment camps for the Eldians. It's like, it's so great. It's long overdue, and now they have this big like international meeting like that they're being held, and yeah, Aaron's about to break that up in the best kind of way. So I'm just waiting for that episode to drop. It's gonna be fun to watch. One thing that is frustrating though, like, I hate the fact that they've called this the final season, because I just know there's gonna be like, in 10 weeks, it's gonna be over of this batch of episodes, and then it'll be part 2 of the final season coming in 2021 or some bullshit. And it's like, it's not the same. It was never like that. Like, part 1 and part 2 of season 1, just call them separate seasons. Season 1 is the arc of, everything going to shit all the way up till finding out Eren is a Titan. And then season 2 is the female Titan arc with Annie, and the fact there are more Titan shifters. And then season 3 is what they call season 2 with, I forget what the season 2 arc was. They go to like that little village, and that's when the Beast Titan turns some of them into Titans before the wall was breached, and then everything. And they're wondering if the wall rose was breached. Anyway, that's the frustrating thing. I hate, I don't know what show started that. I think Sopranos was guilty of it at one point, and then Breaking Bad did that too, but it's like, it's not the same. If you have a break between releases of episodes that goes on longer than an actual season, like 3 months, like 12 weeks, an actual season of life, it's not a season. So that's my rant. It's frustrating. I don't like that. And then there are some shows that have had it way worse. Like, poor Steven Universe. We are the Crystal Gems. We never air on time because Turner Broadcasting doesn't like our show. I don't know. It's so sad when you, Firefly, of course, was the original, reference people would make, but it didn't even make it to the second season. In the middle of the first season, they screwed up all the releases, and then, it smothered the baby in its cradle, basically. So, it's dumb. I don't like that. I want final season to mean I'm going to see the end of the story in the next, 12 weeks or whatever, but no, I know it's just going to be the end of part 1, and then we'll have another... I wouldn't mind having another set of intro and outro songs. It's kind of weird with Attack on Titan. It's always been like every season I'll either really like the outro or really like the intro, but not always both. Not always. With the first couple seasons or sections, parts, I usually did like both the intro and outro. But the last couple, not so much. I don't know. Like, Red Swan was really good, of Season 3, Part 1, but then the outro for that, which was a Linked Horizon song, was not as good. Or something. Anyway. Obviously, I'm talking all this is just talking out of my ass to all 6 people watching. Thank you, 6 people, for watching. But this is just my rant, because I had a little bit more podcasting left in me after Chris's Twitch stream. So yeah, I guess there really isn't much more to say about Cyberpunk, is there? I'm looking. I forgot I made the card Cyberpunk themed. Personal responsibility. That was ultimately the thing they did wrong. They shouldn't have fucking said anything that it was in development way back when at all. Not until like 2016 or whatever they started like full-throated development. And even then, you don't release a 3-minute long like teaser trailer for the thing that's all just pre-rendered animation of this is what we hope it'll look like in 8 years. And even then, it's like it took you 8 years and all the other things you said in between didn't quite deliver on. Didn't quite. I guess I was kind of lucky where I really didn't pay attention to a lot of the things they said were going to be in the game. Like, I did vaguely have the understanding that it would probably be like an RPG and also kind of like a GTA clone kind of thing. And that was enough. Like, it's mostly delivered that for me. Like, I really liked the music. I really liked a lot of the story and a lot of the dialogue and stuff. It's much more story focused than RPG focused, which I can respect, but at the same time, that's not exactly how they presented it. And I just started my second playthrough. I'm like halfway through my second playthrough, and I did a different start this time. Instead of going Nomad, which is how I played originally, I went the Corpo route, and it really is incredible where it's like, it's not a different life path. It's a different, like, intro title sequence where you play, 20 minutes if you Zerg Rush the whole opening sequence up until the title card and the 6-month, montage scene with everyone. But it's like, it's not the same. Like, it's not really a different, like, branching backstory or anything. It was also, I felt like it was much shorter. I don't know, I felt like the Nomad story had more depth to it in terms of V's history. Like the whole Corpo opening kind of implies that V was originally a street kid of some kind, but he did make it into the corporate world, but that's why he still had his connection with Jackie. And so then when he pisses off Arasaka too much and they fire him, that he goes back to Jackie, that it was like, the boy coming home, basically. Well, boy character, if you play as that. If you play as male V. So yeah, I don't know. I guess the only variety I'm going to get is whenever I start a female V playthrough, which maybe I'll do next time. I'll do female V, but as a street kid. So, I don't know. I think the Cleveland show got canceled. Oh, that's sad. Yeah, rip and pepperoni for one of the Seth MacFarlane shows. They're all the same. No, but like, I don't know. I get the idea that, it's different kind of formats of the same creative director, but it almost seemed like really shameless of just like, it's literally just the same thing. You're just a different set of family are the stars. I don't know. I tried a bit of the Cleveland show, but it didn't really hold me. I mean, I was never really a Family Guy fan either, so I gave, like, Cleveland show a try. I gave American Dad a try. I know there's some other shows that he did that are in that kind of style, but they didn't hold me either. The one change I did make, which was back in the day when Futurama came out, and, like, I actually lost interest in Simpsons around the time Futurama came out because it kind of felt like a lot of the Simpsons' best writers went to Futurama. And so I enjoyed that show a whole lot more and stuck with it for its first run before its second cancellation, I think. I don't know, the 4 seasons before they started doing the movies. That's what I focused on. And those were really good. And then I kind of tuned out completely on all the graining shows. There's like the Simpsons movie, which was okay, but it wasn't what it should have been. It should have been the Hank Scorpio movie, but it wasn't. They Simpsons movie compared to what what I thought it was gonna be. It's unmatched. The heck is this? I'm looking at the music, the music page now. Will Smith came out with a Chill Beats to Quarantine to 9 months ago. Will Smith's official YouTube channel. I'll be damned. I'm not clicking on that because I know the second I do, fucking what's the name of the company? Dang it, what's the name of that music company they worked with? The damn it, Rashida Jones. Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones music is gonna, you know, give our channel a really good love tap on the head. So I'm not clicking that, but that is interesting how the chill beats to study and work to has just become a whole genre on YouTube now. Speaking of other anime I've been watching, I finally caught up on the newest season of My Hero Academia also. I was, again, waiting for the dub, and so then when season 4 dropped, and we have this whole arc with Ari, the little time reverser girl with the horn on her head, and then the whole school festival arc. It was so great. The whole 4th season was so great. I think it's my favorite of the whole like series now, because that whole arc started out just really intense, and you have the three older kids that are really good, and the one guy that looks like he's a Tintin character. Yeah, and then the whole second half of it, which is the school festival arc, is just fun and wholesome. And then you have like Brava and the gentle thief and all that stuff, and it was just like really, really fun and wholesome. And then the movies too. I didn't even know there were My Hero Academia movies, and so I watched the the two brothers. No, not two brothers. The two heroes, which is them going to the big scientist hero convention on like this mechanical island, and it's like a completely defensible fortress that gets taken over. That was really good. It's, you know, it's kind of fun seeing all the characters in like dress, like kind of like school dance clothes, and then they have to fight in them. That was pretty exciting. And then the second movie where they're like doing hero work on this like small island to the south, and they have a villain come out of nowhere who's also a steal your powers kind of villain, like One for All or All for One. So yeah, it was they're both very fun. If you haven't watched My Hero Academia, I think you do kind of have to know the show before you watch the movies. I would say that. Looking back at my childhood, I'd probably say the same thing about like the Pokemon movies or Digimon, even with the dubs, which probably were made to be as acceptable to common, like regular audiences as they can. But they make a whole lot more sense when you're already invested in the characters and already know a lot about the backstory of Todoroshi and Bakugo and Jiro and all those characters. Yeah. So. Honestly, that was another thing I really liked about season 4, part 2, whatever, the festival arc, was Kyoka Jiro got so much more screen time, because I do love her. She's like, you know, she's the Sundeer goth girlfriend, basically, character. And I'm glad that she had just more to do, more screen time, her big song at the end. It was very adorable, and I love her and love that character. So, it was a lot of fun. What else is going on? Also know about a Fallout Equestria 4 mod for Fallout 4. Oh, that's fun. Yeah, some of those pony mods, when they first started coming out, people got so mad. They got so mad at all the horse mods. Oh shit, has it only been half an hour? Fuck, feels like a lot longer than that. I don't know how much podcasting I actually have left in me. I already did an hour with on Chris's stream, so I'm sorry. I guess this is this will be a baby podcast. We'll try to go to an hour. We'll see how that goes. I was also really lucky. I have a new set of headphones. I was looking at after Christmas sales, and I've been wanting a new set of over-the-ear headphones, because actually, basically, I think basically the entire time I've been doing music and stuff on YouTube, I've always had earbuds. I've always had specifically the Skull Candy Inked 2 earbuds, which I do have. I don't even know if they make them anymore. I got a couple of pairs off Amazon before they like maybe retired the branding or something. I do like them a lot. They are great earbuds, and they have really good bass and stuff compared to like at least back in the day the old earbuds that like came standard with like Android phones and stuff. So that's why I've always liked them. One problem I used to always have is over the ear earbuds. Admittedly, I'd get kind of cheap ass ones, like that very first song on my channel, which has the terrible plug-in mic, and it was like, $15 because I wasn't really working proper at the time, so I didn't really have the disposable income, and on top of that, I wasn't really sure how invested I was going to get into like internet music kind of thing. But now 40 hours of radio drama later, and 3, almost 4 symphonic metal operas later, and like 200 fucking random parody songs and other stuff later, I've finally gotten a really good pair of over-the-ear headphones, which are these Bear Dynamic 990 Pros with the 250 ohm range, and they're made for audio editing and mixing. Because I guess there's 2 types of over-the-ear headphones, which is open ear, like these, or open sound, whatever, and then closed sound, which are like which are better for noise canceling, and they're also better for recording tracks. And admittedly, I really don't need that because most of my recording applications, I mean, with the music type stuff, it doesn't quite matter as much. I can wear the buds, and the buds don't let music leak too much. But then with like audiobook recording or, audio drama like Confessions, like I don't have a backing track. I don't have to talk to anything or, anything like that. So I don't need closed ear headphones for those. So like 99% of my day-to-day like audio intake is going to be with open format headphones. So I went with these over those, and I'm pretty happy with them. They're really, they press a little bit on my temples, but they are new, and I haven't worn headphones like this in so long. So I'm mostly used to them now, and they are very comfortable, and they have a really good sound range. So this has been fun. It's been a nice little after Christmas gift that I've collected. There is a great voice cast on My Hero Academia. MHA is a really great example of ensemble writing. Like, I actually thought of that when I watched the first movie that came out, the Two Heroes or whatever, because it opens with just Midoriya and All Might, fucking Todoroshi. And for a little bit, I'm like, okay, it's going to be a kind of a smaller scale thing. It's them, and then we're introduced as the audience to Todoroshi's friend, which is, what's his name? He's the American character, so he's Shield, Drake Shield, or something like that. And then his daughter, which ends up being the, Midoriya connection, and I fucking forgot her name too. Melissa? I think it's Melissa. Melissa Shield. That sounds right. Anyway, so I thought to myself, okay, it's gonna be them and then the villain characters, whatever they end up being. And then literally I thought to myself, like, oh, that's gonna be kind of sad. Like, I really enjoy the Class 1A ensemble. Like, they're a lot of fun. They're kind of what make up like the show, is just this interaction of them as a whole, as classmates. And almost on cue, as soon as that thought crossed my mind, fucking, who was the first one that runs in? I think it's, is it Ida? Tenya Ida? I don't know. One of them just literally runs into frame in like this big open air, presentation grounds in their little artificial island. And I'm like, hey, it's, who was the first ones? It's them. And I'm like, oh, cool. So we do have a couple more characters. And then literally the next 10 minutes are just bringing everyone bringing everyone onto the island and then throwing out their little excuse of why they're there at this hero power conference. So great. I loved it so much. So we had everybody involved doing their own little things. We have all these little bits, Bakugo gets all mad and all the other characters. It's very it's very fun. If you are a writer and you want to learn good group ensemble writing, I would definitely say My Hero Academia is a great just example to check out. Like what the show as a whole, the movies, really great. Another example I would give to that, which is what I really studied when I was writing Ulysses Chronicle Volume 1, is Atlantis Lost Empire. That was obviously a big inspiration for the show in general, but another good example of ensemble cast writing for there's tropes, of course, but that's any character is going to be a trope in one way or another, How many characters across the 90s and 2000s were the quintessential goth girlfriend character that everyone grew up with? Oh my god, I was one of those guys. All the Ravens and the Sam Mansons from Danny Phantom and all those kind of shows. So fantastic. So fantastic. So Sunset Shimmer asks, what did you use on the Sins of the Past song? Well, for my microphone, I only used that terrible headset mic for that very first attempt at Was This Ponies, and then I got my old blue Snowball microphone, regular Snowball, not the stripped down version, and I had that up until... What was the last song I had with that? It broke right as I moved back from Virginia. Literally the pins, the USB pins broke out of it. So now it's just sort of a memento. I keep it, as a trophy on one of my shelves. What was the last song I used that for? Let me pull up my channel. I'll be able to tell you. It would be end of 2015, so it would have been it might have been the Christmas song, "Living in a Stable Underground," the one parody where I actually parodied Winter Wonderland, which is kind of ironic that Nuclear Winter Wonderland is not a parody of Winter Wonderland just because of the way the syllables went, and that's actually a Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree parody. But anyway, yeah, I think Living in the Stable Underground was the last song I recorded with my old blue Snowball microphone, and then with the and then after that, then I got a blue Yeti. So anyway, yeah, the Sins of the Past would have been on the Snowball, and then everything since then has been on my blue Yeti. I should get a better microphone eventually as well. I've always wanted to get an XLR mic with a converter box and, something a little higher quality, a little more official and everything, but I guess I haven't needed to. The Yeti's been good enough for the kind of, dumb shit I do up until now, so I'm sticking with it. Roy has appeared. What did I miss? Not much. It's kind of bullshitting. I talked about, I did an hour with Chris Blessing's Twitch stream earlier, and she had to end it early, so I did an hour there, and I was like, I have a little bit more podcasting left in me, so why not do a quick Sky blog? So here we are. Bullshitting. Yeah, so I don't know what is everyone in our in our audience of 6 viewers. What do y'all do for Christmas? Any new shows you're watching? Any new things you got or stuff you want to talk about? Oh, that's another new show I started watching was WandaVision, the new Marvel show. Which it is funny, it felt kind of quaint. I'm like, when was the last Marvel thing I saw? And I'm like. To be honest, it was probably Endgame. Unless, actually, did the Spider-Man Homecoming, Far From Home, come out after that? The second one, the one where they go to Europe. I did see that. I'm not sure if that was after Endgame or not, but I did see that. And that might have been it. I remember looking forward to Black Widow, but then Black Widow got delayed when the whole world shut down. And yeah, I think that was the last Marvel thing I watched, was one of those two. So yeah, it was kind of neat seeing like the whole Marvel opening on Disney Plus, and it's like, oh wow, like I was ready, like, you know, it'd been a while. And honestly, I need to go back because I don't really remember a lot of the details of Vision and Wanda, Scarlet Witch's relationship. I know it starts when they actually form Vision in the second Avengers movie, when he gets born out of the Soul Stone? I think it's the Soul Stone. Or no, the Soul Stone's what they had to kill Black Widow for, right? So it's whatever stone, and then one of Stark's robots, and then the Stark AI when he was Jenkins, or it wasn't Friday. Friday is the lady AI that replaces him. Anyway, before he becomes Vision, before Paul Bettany becomes Vision. And then also that's the movie where Scarlet Witch joins them, because she starts out as a functionary of Hydra and then Ultron and everything as they turn Sokovia into one giant meteorite bomb that they drop on everyone. Yeah, so I need to go back and watch, like, maybe there's a supercut or someplace where I can be like, you know, just flip through the movies on Disney Plus and watch like all the scenes involving them as a relationship, and then go from there. Anyway, so the show itself actually starts out kind of like it plays straight. Like, it starts off like it's a late 50s, like, Leave It to Beaver era sitcom. Black and white, 4:3 aspect ratio. Everything's very wholesome. You know, it's pre-1960s cultural revolution. So, yeah, everything is very wholesome, and it's played very tropey. Like, the whole first episode, I guess minor spoilers. I won't give any major spoilers, but really not a lot has happened yet. Like, I saw Jeremy Johns, the YouTube reviewer guy. He made a comment that I very much agree with, which is, this kind of seems like the show where they shouldn't be releasing it weekly. It seems like the kind of show where you really want to be able to binge it all right away to see what's going on, because, so like the plot line plays out, and there is even a commercial break in the middle that is for a toaster, I think, a Stark Industries like toaster oven. And that's the first time in the episode after the titles where color seeps through. Up until then, everything has been black and white. And then with this toaster oven commercial, the light on the toaster blinks like bright, vivid red. And obviously that stands out. And then later on in the show, there's something else that happens that is kind of like fourth wall breaking. Like, so far, I mean, not being as dark or edgy as that, but the closest thing it can be compared to is Too Many Cooks. Like, it really seems like Too Many Cooks, the show, so far. But obviously, something about it involves Scarlet Witch, Wanda's reality-bending powers, and also some other organization. Like, her powers are being employed. Like, she uses them in the meta control of the show itself, of this reality she's living in. But on top of that, there's other symbols of other organizations that are either watching her or are actively trapping her into this like TV reality. It's also kind of like Channel Surfers, the Fairly Odd Parents movies from back in the day. Either way, it's good. This is a positive review. I very much like the show. And also, with the title sequence, they have the show's like theme music. And similar to The Mandalorian, it hits hard. It's like really quality. Where who do they say does the music? It's the Lopez couple that did the Frozen music, I think. And yeah, it's a really big, like Marvel-esque, like sweeping, you know, brass horns, superhero kind of sounding theme song. Very cool. And then there's very cool like title sequence that goes with it, where they go through like TV pixels that are hanging and like shaping out into like things. Anyway, I highly recommend. Very, very fun. It reminded me of the Mandalorian credit theme song sequence that also hits really loud and hard, and I really like that. I hope more and more Disney stuff in general has that kind of thing, Because there was a long period in, like, I want to say the 2010s where shows didn't really have title sequences anymore. They'd have, like, a title card or, like, some kind of ambient tone, and then it's just the show. And I'm like, no, I want, like, a full fucking title sequence. And it feels like it took Netflix to bring that back, basically. Like, you started having the really big stuff, like, I guess of the stuff I'm watching recently, The Expanse has a really great title sequence that they update with every season, with the things as they go on and change. And I like it, man. Like, especially when you like it, when you're not skipping title sequences, like that old 90s cyberpunk show I mentioned earlier in the podcast, Key, the Metal Idol, that has a really cool title sequence. And I really like the song and the English cover of the song that they do in the dub. And I don't skip it. And I'm like, that is the mark of quality. If I'm not skipping it, that is a well-executed opening theme and title sequence. And more shows need that, in my opinion. Yes, that's right. Sword is one of the organizations teased. In the second episode, the commercial is for a watch, a Strucker watch, which is Swiss-made, when most likely it's probably Austrian-made. Because at the bottom of the watch face, at the end of the commercial, you see the Hydra logo. And it's like, okay. So the external Marvel world is definitely at work on whatever self-imposed or imprisoned reality Scarlet Witch is living in, and whether anyone else is in there, because everyone saw Vision die in Infinity War, so it's like, is this the real Vision, or is this her manifestation replacement of Vision? Because he died, he got torn to pieces to make the Infinity Gauntlet. Yeah, and then Sword is assumedly an alternate reality version of S.H.I.E.L.D. So there's one theory I've seen floating around, which is that she basically hopped over into a different parallel universe where you have this Sword organization instead of S.H.I.E.L.D., and the Vision that she is now married to is the Vision from that show. Or that reality. Maybe in that reality, it was his Scarlet Witch that died. And so that they're going to play that kind of thing, where they join together after losing their loves of similar but different timelines. We have one comment. Not trying to be rude, but I forgot I was subbed to you. You do animations, right? Not really. No, we actually, our whole channel started under the premise that animation was a bad idea. Was that Stable Tech bit off way more than they can chew with animations, and so we started doing Fallout Equestria radio plays, and we have songs and a shitload of podcasts, and yeah, mostly radio plays though. So, you know, and stick around if you want. There are podcasts with people other than me. This is just, when you see this branding with Celestia Banana, it's usually like a monologue thing that I'm doing. But there are other podcasts with more interesting characters than myself. So you can check those out if you want. Oh yeah, as for personal responsibility, which is the reference for Cyberpunk, but at 12:01 on last year of high school starts, and I was deep into the internet before I came here. Oh, congratulations! I hope you've enjoyed high school. It's all different after high school for sure. Whether it's better or not is subjective, but it's definitely different. Like there is the tropey refrain that high school never ends. The old Bowling with Soup song. Which I can agree to some extent, like the drama of youth, like the kind of pettiness, the clickiness, all of that is still there, but everyone kind of mostly cools down. Like, it's present, the social dynamics are present, but the intensity goes way down because people aren't going through this, you know, massive hormonal, change that is puberty in their lives. And so it's just like a more adult level of everything. Emotions are much more thought out. You don't feel things quite so hard anymore, you know. It's everything is less strong unless it's like a meaningful emotion, like accomplishment or, you know, real depression, rather than like, you know, the boy broke up with me kind of depression. So, yeah. as far as I know, Sword is the evolution of Shield. Oh, that's neat. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly only know Marvel, like the Marvel universe from the movies and shows. Like, I was never a Marvel kid growing up. I don't know any of it at all, really. Growing up, I was hard into all the DC stuff. You know, the Batman animated shows, Batman Beyond, Justice League Unlimited, all that. Static Shock. Why isn't there a Static Shock movie yet? Like, seriously. Anyway. Speaking of which, there is a rumor floating around. I don't know if there's any truth to it, but that, fucking, what's his name? Spooky Man. Not Tim Curry, damn it. Or Tim Allen. Fuck, who did the Batman movie? Batman 89. Tim Burton. There's a rumor floating around that Tim Burton is being brought back, as well as the original 89 Batman. Fuck, what's his name? Michael Keaton. For a Batman Beyond movie. A Batman Beyond live action movie, which would be absolutely fucking incredible. I really hope that is happening. Movie Tim Burton. Where did I read this? Screen Rant. Screen Rant put out an article about it. Tim Burton's Batman Beyond could properly end Michael Keaton's DC story arc. Michael Keaton's Batman will appear in The Flash, and following it up with a Burton-helmed Batman Beyond could wrap up his Batman arc. Oh, I would love that so much. Please make Batman Beyond a reality. Because honestly, in the late 90s, like before I was allowed to watch some of the edgier, well, I can't even say that. I was allowed to watch a lot of movies growing up. But one of the quintessential, as a kid, cyberpunk stories that I watched regularly was Batman Beyond. It's a very kind of classically cyberpunk series, and I love that shit. I ate that up. You know, coming off of Batman Animated, just loved it. And Terry McGinnis and all the futuristic Batman goodness. I would love to see a well executed live action Batman Beyond movie. Oh yeah. Yeah, that would be so cool. That'd be so cool. I hope that happens. All right, looks like we made it to the hour. My voice did not give out on me, which is good. Yeah, that was my perspective on WandaVision as well, is that I think it is after Endgame and all the plot points fall off, and it's basically her mental retreat, her coping mechanism of losing Vision, and all the other trauma of the story was she disappears into fantasy and ends up slipping into another reality's world and making this sort of literally TV show style life to live out the life she wanted to have with Vision. So there's a lot of great emotional potential there if that is really what's going on. So we can only hope. We can only wait and see. I mostly have faith in, Kevin Feige, because he was somehow able to pull like a 20 blockbusters off as a single coherent universe, which is fucking crazy and never going to be replicated again. Probably for the rest of the century. I don't see that happening again anytime soon. Because you need a property with that much backstory behind it, and then public interest, and then on top of that, the entire movie industry is going to change anyway, because movie theaters are dead. Because Coronapona killed movies. Where is she? Where's my Coronapona symbol? Do I even have her? Did I delete it? Nope. Oh, Corona. No, maybe I removed her. Anyway, yeah, after Coronapona killed movies, the whole industry is going to hard shift into probably more streaming, because that's the only platform now is streaming. And it'll probably be more like series format, which I'm actually okay with too, because series give a lot more potential for actual like deep storyline rather than a hard 90-minute to 2.5 hour kind of time frame. So it's Yeah, so honestly, Endgame might have dropped at just the right time before blockbuster movies went extinct, essentially. Blockbusters like that in the same kind of way for a while. Can we talk about RVB Zero? I mean, you could, but I haven't watched it, so I don't know. I keep up on Ruby. That's like the last thing holding me to the skeleton of Rooster Teeth Productions. So, yeah, I watched Ruby, so I'm caught up on the latest Ruby. But no, I haven't watched Red vs. Blue since the end of the Chorus trilogy, when that kind of burned me out. Like, I respect it more now. Looking back at it, I much more agree with James Vaughn than I did on the very first episode of the Break Room podcast. But, the very big but, it still sucks. It's still a far cry from the old days. And, I know I sound like a nostalgia old man by saying that, but it's like... even the Reconstruction trilogy and then seasons 9 and 10 were quite a big leap from the original Blood Gulch arc, and it's gone on too long. Like, it's not the same. And then season 14, when it was like the variety show season, I totally unplugged. Like, I just didn't pay attention at all. So I don't know what's been happening since then. Yeah, Attack on Titan has neat lore. I really like it. I know some people criticize it for what it, like, some things Isayama might have said and stuff, and it's like, yeah, that's fair. You can judge the man and you can judge the show, but I think the show itself is pretty good. Like, presenting the morals as they are with the whole dynamic between the Eldians and Marlians. I think what's going on too is there's a lot of history is written by the victors going on as well. Like, a lot of the things that we've heard about the Eldians always being oppressive rulers with their titans and this godlike authority, a lot of that comes from the current ruling Marlians more than anything. And a lot of other cultures that probably legitimately did fear them for being, devil-like beings, for being able to transform into these shapeless, mindless monsters. But yeah, I actually think it's a really adult kind of conversation on those kind of dynamics. And I mean, if you gotta say something if you don't want it to be like shallow bullshit. So I think it's really neat. I think it's good writing. Yeah, and on a visceral level, Marley has it fucking coming. You've been dumping all these titans onto the shore of these basically like lobotomized Eldians. It's like they're cursed to live their lives as monsters, kind of against their will. So, yeah, it's very interesting. And season 4, of course, now that the two cultures are in open warfare together, the Paradis Eldians versus the Marleyan Continentals, it's only going to get crazier, and they're only going to have to reckon with the state of the world even more so going from there. So, very fascinating, and also really makes me wonder how it's going to end. Like, I don't know what the end game is, honestly. Like, it's still not the best situation for the Eldians, but it's like, if they can take back, like, all the Titans and then basically bypass fucking King Fritz's stupid pacifist ideology, then it's like, maybe... I don't know, maybe they could actually reach an entente and everyone just live normal lives rather than these very elaborate lies of both societies and of course, say, an oppressed class like, Eldians in Marleyan society as well. Very weird. Very weird. Oh, is it a flop with RVB Zero? I'm just checking the chat again. Oh, that is sad, but not surprising. Rooster Teeth has not had a good year. At least, like, every time I've seen Rooster Teeth pop up in the news, it hasn't been good. It's always been one weird controversy after another. And, like, Bernie not only fled the company, but fled the country. And Joel is gone, and that's sad. And it's just like, I don't know. Looking back as a former hardcore Rooster Teeth fan, I would say everything went wrong starting with the Full House sale. they should not have sold the company to Full Screen Entertainment. Like, as soon as they had some corporate CEO who was not one of the original, like, founding goofballs that would, all meet at Bernie's house and record in his spare bedroom. And I'm sure he was a fine guy. That was his name, Ezra Levant or whatever. But as soon as, like, this outside, like, a publishing company, that's what Full Screen was, is they would just distribute the DVDs around the world of every time Red vs. Blue finished a season or things like that. And then after that, it was just, one tragedy after another. Like, Monty died, which was sad. The show lived on without him, but there's always kind of that, like, question, like, how would things have been different if you had Monty's creative influence the whole time? And, then you have the drama things like the Shane guy and all those other, just, I don't know, one controversy after another. And then the real world since 2014 definitely hasn't helped, And so it's just sad. It's just sad and it sucks. It makes me wish the old days. There's like that one guy, Merryweather Comics, who puts out all the little anime comics and short videos and stuff. And he just had one where it's like, oh, wake up, Weeb-kun. Coronavirus? What are you talking about? It's 2007. Let's go put in a DVD and play. I forget what it was, like a Death Note reference or something. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I remember 2007. That was a great year. It was before the financial crash. The Iraq War wasn't good, but the Iraq War was, like, spinning down. Like, by that point, no matter who was going to win the next election, like, people were way done with that. So it was like, 2007 was an interesting kind of time in American history. Anyway. What were we talking about? Oh, Red vs. Blue Zero, it's beyond rushed, and you see every twist by episode 2, and then they ruin Tucker? How do you ruin Tucker? Oh, man. I mean, honestly, how do you ruin Tucker? He's like a quintessentially funny character. Like, the way you ruin Tucker is you make him not funny, or you, like, make the jokes sad. I can't even imagine how they ruined Tucker. You remember the old days when Tucker was talking about how he banged Jeff's sister? Not Jeff, Griff's sister. And he had his little alien baby son and everything. Oh. Honestly, I think they should have redone, if they could go back in time, they should have redone seasons 9 and 10 to just give a real closure for all those characters. But that was back in the day when, things were looking bright all across the board. Like, there wasn't all the controversy and the corporate meddling, and it was still Rooster Teeth, it was not Warner Media, RT division or anything like that. Fuck, man, it's so fucking sad. And all the stuff that happened with Achievement Hunter this year, like I had tuned out of Achievement Hunter for a while. I kind of paid attention to their podcasts for a while, the, what do they call it? The, off-topic podcast. And the reason I did is because Jeff was on a podcast again. I always liked Michael Jones. I've given the backstory of Michael Jones is how I became a brony, that whole thing. And I liked Jeff, but then after like podcast 100, I want to say, of the Drunk Tank, Jeff dropped off because he had one too many kind of like, I don't know, they razzed him a little bit too hard on the podcast, and they went into too much of his relationship with Griffin when they were still together. Which, that's another big F. It was sad to hear that they had divorced and all that stuff. So, I don't know, man. It's like that one refrain I had about, like, Bernie started becoming a shittier writer when he got divorced. Like, he couldn't write love anymore. Everything had a weird, sad, bitter tone to it. Like, I still hate the way that season 10 ended as far as, like, church and Tex and all that stuff. It was just kind of like... It's kind of like the Dead Money, let me go ending, but like in the worst way. I don't know. Like they keep bringing poor Leonard Church back to life just to separate him from the love of his life over and over again. I'm like, that's really fucking dark, dude. Like, do you need therapy? Was your first marriage really that bad? I don't know. This is why the business, the backstory of creative entertainment is often more fascinating than the entertainment itself. Like, I mostly enjoy the storyline of Cyberpunk, but now the story of CD Projekt Red and the entire development process of Cyberpunk is kind of becoming a more compelling story, which is really fucking sad. One sec. Okay, I'm back. Had to put on the air conditioning. Yeah, Zero has practically no comedy. Yeah, that was kind of a hard thing to, like it was already going in that direction with the reconstruction, and then the seasons 9 and 10, it was becoming more action-y when they had, when they brought Monty on, and then all their other animation department on board, but honestly, I thought the whole Chorus trilogy was too serious. Like the old stuff had a lot of really great dramatic moments without being too serious. Like the end of season 5 and stuff like that. Like they had the drama where it mattered, but I don't know. It like became too serious for its own good, which could be a refrain on the company as a whole, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't know. They also, I thought, like, this is probably hypocritical coming from us, but they had too many podcasts. It kind of felt like they were working too much on meta productions rather than the actual content itself. Like, they stopped playing around with different random series, like, Strangerhood, that died out quickly. They had the little one-off things like 1-800-MAGIC and all these other boomer Rooster Teeth fan things that no one else remembers. I was a big fan of Day 5. I wanted to see more Day 5, but that whole series got shit canned too, which is really sad. It didn't even have a DVD release or Blu-ray release, I don't think. I got like a DVD box set of it, which is like after their very first RTX, where they recorded the big scene with Joel at the Austin Capitol and all the hundreds of fans that got to be in that shot. And then it took them like 6 years for them to actually release the episode with that shot. Yeah, so that's just... it just sucks. It's just very unfortunate. Anyway, so 21. Is there a good note? Yeah, ironically, with all the bad that was in 20, you know, we've talked about some of the good stuff that did happen, at least for us. We were happy to release Great Experiment was long overdue. Finished Confessions. Terminal Secrets is done. We are literally painfully close to finishing Wasteland Survival Guide. Like, I know keep talking about it, but it's not my fault. And it's just like, it's literally like 4 or 5 episodes left. We're so close, and I want to get them out there so bad, but we're just waiting on recordings, unfortunately. It's been frustrating, but it's like, hopefully, I really hope in the next couple of weeks or months, we'll be able to finish the Wasteland Survival Guide and release the big PDF book I've been working on for months and the big audio book of everything assembled in its final order and stuff. Like, I'm really excited once we get to that point, but just need a few more recordings. That's it. And once we do, it's going to be sweet. So hopefully that'll be our content of the winter and spring when we have those in hand. In the meantime, like I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, I've been focusing a lot on this novel. So I'm not sure about the next Ulysses Chronicle volume. I kind of, we're doing releases on Libsyn right now, and I'm kind of seeing if we can get more of a foothold anyplace else in like Google Podcasts or Amazon Podcasts or anything. And I don't know. I don't know what to do, honestly. I don't know, like, sites to submit it to so it gets a little bit more viewership or anything. I'm kind of discouraged, honestly. I thought we'd have a few more views across more of the videos and stuff. So I don't know. So we'll see what happens. I do have a whole plot line for Ulysses Chronicle planned out too, but definitely one thing I'll do, probably no matter what, is reformat the video release, because fuck, I put way too much time into the video production of all the text on screen. That takes so much fucking time to do. Not doing that anymore. It's just gonna be like a title card of the chapter name and artwork or something. We'll put artwork of the character that's significant of that episode, like Sophia or Faye or something like that, and it'll just be a stationary card for the episode, because otherwise it's like the Yule episode, the Christmas season 1 finale with Saturnalia and Yule. There are 150 individual PDF files, and not PDF, PSD files, Photoshop files of the text on screen of each line that appears. And I don't know why the fuck I did that. Like, when we did that in Wasteland Survival Guide, that was always a slow part of the production too. It was never the thing that held up production. It was usually done before I had the lines for that episode, but it was like time consuming. I don't know why the fuck I brought that back. That was stupid. I think I did it because I was not confident in some of our pronunciations, so I wanted people to be able to read the text to see what we're actually saying. But with this Libsyn thing, a whole better approach has been just editing the master PDF, or not PDF, but when it's still a Word doc or Microsoft Word document, and then releasing it as a script PDF with each episode. And that is way easier. That takes way less time as a production standpoint, and it looks better, and then it's in like a finalized format also for like as an audio or as a ebook, like for reading just by yourself. Yeah, so after finishing the script formatting of Confessions, that was sort of an awakening moment. So definitely that's not coming back. I can almost guarantee that right now. So I should be able to get more. Honestly, it'll let me write more too, because then I won't feel as compelled to, like, you know, hold my pen, so to speak, because I don't want to do all that extra visual production. So we'll see how it goes. But either way, I needed a break, and I had like a flush of creativity for this new story, and that's why I've written so much of it already as it is. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. There are so many more topics to cover in WSG. No, there are not. There are exactly 5 topics left to cover. Yeah, no, we actually finished the scripts over a year ago for Wasteland Survival Guide. So like the actual book is done, which is interesting. It's literally just getting those last audio bits done, and once they are, then it'll be like a completed work, and that's more than anything what I want. I want to be able to like release a full completed body of work, which was always the plan. Like, we've had this plan for years, and so it's just had a few hitches in its giddy up, unfortunately. Hello, Master Time, other mixed people in the comments. So yeah, I don't know. Anything else to talk about? I don't know what else has been going on lately. I covered shows I've been watching, production we've been doing, other stuff like that. Yeah, so I don't know what else is really going on. At least for my life, the ongoing circumstances continue until at least June. That's the last thing my boss told me. Like, at my job, it's like, yeah, basically the all the local government stuff has said nothing changes until at least June. Probably much later, but that's like the next time we're gonna have an update, which that's kind of strange. It's like, I really don't want it to change. I really love working from home because I can easily do my job from home. It's fucking technical writing. I could do it all on a laptop if I needed to. Well, which is what I do. But I mean, I could do it on like an ultra portable, like, travel laptop if I really needed to. But anyway, that's been great. I don't want that to change, but I do want everything else to change. So it's like waiting for the vaccine rollout and all that stuff, and I don't know. We'll see what happens. I had not a scare, but some friends of mine got the Corona Pona over Christmas, and so that actually canceled a Christmas party plan we had with them. But then they got through their quarantine and they got over it and were no longer contagious, and so we had a birthday party for him recently. So it was fun to see them again. It had been a while. Even me, who I've always thought of myself as very indoorsy and whatever, it's been hard. some of the Corona shutdown stuff. Oh yeah, Russian and new to the USA and learning English. Yes, welcome to America. I hope you have fun. Hope you enjoy. Yeah. I don't remember any of our old country languages either. My dad, born in Germany. Norwegian, don't speak any of that. Neither does my mom, so that's that. And then the Hungarian side of my family either. That's a fucking hard language, though. The fucking Uralic languages, Hungarian and Finnish and Estonian, I think is the other major one. That shit's hard. Whole different language family. It's not one of the pies, one of the Proto-Indo-European branches. So, yeah. So, yeah, no, we love our Eastern Bloc friends. I'm half Eastern Bloc myself, so there you go. Anyway, yeah, so hopefully the other countries are doing better too. I mean, I speak from a very, especially California experience, which a lot of the rest of America really didn't do much shutdowning either. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. I hope everyone's doing fine. What happened with my friends, like friends I actually know, some of them did lose their taste for a while, but they all did come back. So I think only one of them still has like reduced taste right now. And that seems to be the only like kind of other effect that is in question for the most part. Like there were all the scare stories at the beginning about like scarred lungs and severe permanent damage, and I just don't know how much of that is true for people like under 70, basically. So, I don't fucking know. I hope everyone's safe. That's what I hope. I hope people are safe and healthy, and that one of these vaccines is good and sticks and doesn't make people sterile and, dry up their balls or anything like that. Which I think that was one of the jokes heard about the Moderna vaccine or something. So, I don't know. It's fun. Fuck, I'm hungry too. I'm gonna go get some food here soon. Yeah, I guess we'll wind down. We'll go for the half-hour mark, 7 minutes. So if anyone has any lasting questions or quick topics you want to talk about or whatever, fire away. Otherwise, a little podcast. I guess I should frame it out on on Cyberpunk, since that's the whole title card of the episode. Yeah, because they released a new update. Basically, I'm sorry, like the old South Park bit, the sorry video, which to some degree I think they are, but at the same time, it's like you promised a lot. You promised way too much, and like kind of lied about like the 2018 trailers and stuff. Like that wasn't a good idea. He shouldn't have done that. But things I like in game design, like the music is really good, the setting is really good, which I enjoy. I like the cyberpunk, aesthetic. And also the gameplay loop is very important. Like if a gameplay loop isn't fun for me, like I don't play the game. I sell it pretty quick. And so I was looking for basically a new, kind of Fallout game to burn time on. Because when I play games, it's usually because I'm vegging out, because I don't want to do like writing production work and I'm not doing regular work. So I want like a veg game, and it has served that purpose pretty well for the last month. So I can't complain about that. It's doing its job as far as I'm concerned. But I do hope, now that I've learned more about all the features that they have promised and things that they did say were going to be in the game, I do hope more of those get added this year. That's basically what their I'm sorry video was about, was this is what we're doing to update the game over the next year. And so, yeah, new updates for stability. I'm guessing those are mostly for the old gen consoles. At one point, they're actually going to have the proper new consoles release, so that'll be interesting. see how the game changes or doesn't change when that happens, even though I've already been playing it on my sex box. What else? Oh, DLC. There was supposedly, like, the first round of DLC come out at some point. There's a lot of great places for them to do DLC. Like, I'd love for a DLC on the floating rich people space station, the Crystal Palace. I'd love a DLC where we actually go up to, like, one of the Mikoshi satellites, like you do in the Devil ending, which is really dark and sad. But yeah, like, space warfare would be kind of cool. Because there is a whole section of the city blocked off, which is just the spaceport, the big, like, mid-harbor space platform that it really seems like is going to become a DLC location at one point. I'd like to see more Badlands, too, like, further out, like, places like, you know, maybe between Night City and Los Angeles or Vegas or something. Like, that would be really cool to do a big, like, Wasteland Nomads DLC, because that's some of my favorite shit. Like, that's why I started out as a nomad and went with the Pan Am ending. I love that open highway vehicle, you know, riding either the Kusanagi, which of course is the Major from Ghost in the Shell, either riding the Major all the way out there in the wasteland, or the Free Caliburn from the Batman guy, from the Muckman or whatever his name was. Or the, what's the fast nomad car? The Shion Mitsuzaki, I think? That's pretty fun. But really, like, motorcycles are the way, where it's at. Like, I ride the, most of the time when I'm out in the wasteland, I ride the, or Badlands, I ride the Aldecaldos, the Scorpions Apollo. That's a lot of fun. They should have called it Next Gen and refunded the Last Geners. Yeah, I totally agree. No, I definitely agree that was probably, you know, they're probably going to have to pay a lot of lawsuits over, like, false advertising over that, because it's pretty egregious. So we'll see. Scrollkeeper asks again, how do you guys keep the channel going with each completed work? That is kind of the question right now, is new series we'll have. So, like I said, I really want to finish Wasteland Survival Guide for sure. That's long overdue. That'll finish one way or another, hopefully, this year. And hopefully in the next couple of months. And then, yeah, I mean, I will finish Ulysses Chronicle eventually in some way, now that I've started it. Now that I've already invested this much time into it, and, like a fifth of the story is done. Like, that's how I planned it from the beginning, was it was going to be 50 episodes. So I already have the whole story in mind. I guess it's just the execution that'll change as I kind of see how things do with the Libsyn downloads, and then kind of see, I guess, what inspiration takes hold of how I want to approach it. But at least for right now, I'm kind of focusing on this novel thing, which honestly is, I mean, it's not a pony novel. It's kind of a new thing that is not even going to be under the Skybolt banner. So I don't know. It's part of the great phase out of pony in general. So I don't know. Kind of taking it one month, or, you know, 1 week at a time kind of thing. See how we do things. I guess I could hint that I do have one really major pony project that I'm working on right now, and some people could probably guess what that is, but there's no promise when or if it'll come out, but it is being worked on, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, and I think that's a good tease. That's a good little button tease on on what might be to come. So we will have a lot of fun stuff this year. I'm sure we'll have more Ulysses Chronicle and more Vermont series. I'm not sure if he plans for more Arya Moon yet. I don't know what the status of that development is, or I know he's desperately trying to bring back Untypical as well with the rest of those episodes, because he's had that one, not Patreon, but was it the Indiegogo campaign for Untypical? That money's still just sitting there in our PayPal account, ready to be used as was promised. So that's a major thing he's working on right now, I know for sure. And we already have the Fallout Day song picked out. I don't know if I told this story on the podcast yet, but it was like literally like a week or two after we released I Love You this last year. I had the idea for the next song. And I'm like, oh, fuck, this is great. This is better than what we just released. So that's already picked out. I've already discussed the idea of it with James Kelly, who seems to really enjoy it. So, yeah, we got that to look forward to no matter what. So, look forward to that, October 23rd. At least the pony will always be the bones of the channel. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, for sure, obviously, it's our major works and stuff. What the future holds, we'll see. If how much we transition into post-pony stuff, I don't know. I mean, literally, honestly, I don't know. It's a big kind of question mark right now, so yeah. And at the very least, we would never, like, nuke the channel. I think that's kind of like... I always thought that was kind of insulting that old artists would, like, you know, completely try to delete their old works. Because, A, you can't do it in most cases. A lot of them gets archived or brought back. And B, I just think it's, I don't know, kind of a dick move to fans who did enjoy just having it in their YouTube playlists or watching it or whatever. I don't know. I really, like, 99.99% sure we would never do that. So, anyway. Parody of anything goes. Yeah, Inkspot songs are hard because there's no instrumentals, so we have to find someone to do an instrumental for them. So, anyway, thank you everyone for joining us for another fantastic BananaCast, and we will talk to you all later.